careful and always spray on at night time, because the hot sunshine will dry the chemical onto the plant and it will burn. So be very careful when you're spraying anything like this. Once again, these are only getting water, nothing else, and even then they're not going to get very much water at the present moment. These are sitting around about 11-inch mark, and for the time of the year it could possibly be too big. It's a new leek to me, so I don't really know. It has broke world records, so I'm quite happy with 11 inches at the moment. I know some people, especially Paul Harrigan, I know he has got leeks around about the 14-inch mark at the moment, but I don't know if these will see September shows or not. We'll take a look at some of the stump carrots and one or two of them. Right, we're on to the stump carrots now. Now this is the first sowing of stump carrot which we made, and really the tops are very large, and I've just bared one away here. If we can possibly zoom in onto that, I don't know if we can see. They're coming on fairly well. I'm only hoping they're not going to be too soon. But I have got some shows at the end of this month, so obviously we'll make a start putting stump carrots in and we'll see what they're like. I've managed to keep the carrot fly at bay by regular spraying, which I'm quite pleased about. The only problem I've had is I've had the odd carrot which I've had to pull out with a disease called sclerotonia, which is really a disease from the oilseed rape, and it's known as white rot. What happens, the outer foliage turns red first and gradually it works its way into the centre, and the centre is completely black, and they reckon that the prevention for this is to spray with Robro. One thing I would say, once you've bed a carrot down, or check on all the carrots, make sure you bank enough either soil or compost or sand back up around the top of the plant, the crown of the plant. We don't want any greening in the carrot. Any greening is a fault, and obviously we don't want points taken off for this particular fault. So they're growing away quite nicely. Once again, a regular spray routine. As for watering, basically they don't get a lot of water now because we don't want carrots to split, but obviously I don't want the compost to dry out, so we're just keeping enough moisture there to keep the compost nice and moist, and that's all. We'll have a look at the exhibition. Now these are just the eating peas along the front, and this is just really any visitors we have, it's to keep the thieving hands off the exhibition peas, which are just starting to form here. Having said that, I like to pop a pea myself, so there we are, not bad little eating peas. Absolutely beautiful. As we see here, these are the exhibition peas, and these are trained cordon style up the cane. These are just starting to form, and we have a few flowers here. Usually I would remove these because obviously I'm looking for peas for later shows. But as it happens this year, I've got shows in 3 weeks' time, so we're starting to let the likes of these peas form. We shouldn't really be touching the peas because they have a natural bloom on them, and every time we touch them we knock the bloom off. So try and let the peas hang as best as possible. I also have later peas on this side which should hit on for me for later shows. We haven't grown a lot, there's only 20 peas in here. They're growing quite happily. I'll remove any tendrils which appear. They are no good to the plant, they just take a little bit of energy from it. So remove these as the plant's growing up, and obviously any side growths which come out, not the flowers, but any side growth such as another stem, that would be removed, and the plants should be tied in at regular intervals to save any from being snapped off. So once again, the peas are growing quite happily. Plenty of water, but no fertiliser whatsoever. They do make their own nitrogen, so I'm happy with those at the moment. We'll take a look at it. Right, if you remember, we were preparing the celery beds, I think, the last time we took a look at these. What we've done, we've placed black buckets, if you can look along the front row. Black buckets, these are florist buckets, like a 2-gallon pail. The bottoms have been removed, and these have been placed around the celery just to keep the sticks growing nicely upwards. What I used to do, I would have the celery grow in different parts of the garden, and I've had quite a lot of problems with heart rot. I used to have a lot of people come to look at the celery, and well, not just celery, everything in the garden, and I used to like the colour to be nice and dark because it obviously looks better. But every time I've had dark celery, I found out that I have had heart rot, and I've possibly had too much nitrogen in the beds. We've really cut down on the fertiliser content, and I'm quite happy with this. This is the colour celery should be. It's a fairly pale green with nice young growth coming out of the centre. This variety is ideal. We have 1 or 2 white from the bottom end here. Really the blanching process hasn't started yet, but it will be ready to start in the next week or two. I would imagine we'd probably just use possibly the brown 4-stone potato bags. It just depends really what we can get our hands on. But as I say, the only thing that we're doing here, which we're not doing in other parts of the garden, is watering every day. They've never had fertiliser, wouldn't feed the celery at all. Water every day, plenty of water. Once again, we have the lay flat tubing underneath the black and white polythene, which makes the job fairly easy. The only other thing which we do on a regular basis is check for slugs, lay slug pellets around the plants, and I also spray with slugget, liquid slugget, to try and prevent any slug damage on the young sticks. So I'm quite happy with the celery. We have a few French beans here, just starting to flower, as we can see. Once again, these are grown black and white. It'll help to keep them clean. There's no beans there at the present moment, but it'll not be long once we see the flowers. So we should get a nice crop of beans.